Coming up on Loyola News Chicago, we'll discuss a movement of Loyola students advocating for affordable education. Then we'll give you an update on the Ukraine and Russia crisis and how some Ramblers are responding to it.
From the Convergence Studio in the School of Communication, this is Loyola News Chicago.
Hello and welcome to Loyola News. I'm Coco Sharp.
And I'm Chloe Johnson. Here's today's news. We start today with a group of Loyola students who are calling attention to the school's increasing tuition. A student group known as the Students for Affordable Education staged a walkout on Tuesday in the West Quad. Their chants included "Follow your mission, lower tuition," and "Hey trustees, lower our fees." The group says they will not stand for tuition increases during a pandemic. They also highlight the salaries of Loyola's highest paid employees, including President Joanne Rooney and Senior Vice President Margaret Callahan, who each make more than $500,000 per year. The Students for Affordable Education have also released a list of demands. These include a 5% decrease in the total cost of attendance and a 10% increase in all financial aid. They also want the school to stop expanding into Rogers Park and Edgewater and bargain in good faith with all labor unions. Overall, they want the school to be more transparent about where students' tuition is going. After the walkout, the group posted on their Instagram account that more information will be coming soon. They did not respond to a request from Loyola News Chicago for comment. We also reached out to the university spokesperson for comment and did not receive a response by airtime.
Tuition at Loyola has, as you guessed it, increased. Reporter Robert Malcolmacki went to the Loyola Tower Water Campus with Loyola students about their thoughts on the issue.
Following Tuesday's rally and Loyola's decision to increase tuition every year, even during a pandemic, we spoke to some students and got their reaction.
College is it's basically a monopoly, so they kind of expand on capital. I mean, some students for sure are going to be mad about it because, you're adding more. College is expensive, this tuition here is expensive as well, but realistically it's you get what you pay, what you're trying to accomplish here, and how you can expand your further education in the real world.
Raising it during the pandemic the first time was pretty shocking, especially because everything was online, and then to see it's going up yet again, it's not very clear where the money's going. Students are the voice to make that change because the people that are higher up, where the money's going. They're not worried as much about us out here, the ones actually paying it.
I feel like we're paying all this money, and you guys are going to increase tuition, but there's not going to be a little bit of change at all to the way that we're learning or being treated at the institution. So it's why are we paying more for getting the same? There's no change at all. This is a business. It's not that's what college is. It's a business for people like the president. If anybody up there in the higher ups had any concern for us, we see Loyola actually be affordable.
There are a lot of ideas as to why Loyola continues to increase their tuition, and even why they did so during the pandemic. With President Rooney stepping down at the end of the school year, students wonder what will happen to that trend. Robert Malcolmacki, Loyola News, Chicago.
Tuition increases are a yearly occurrence for Loyola students, as Loyola Phoenix reported that Loyola's tuition has increased every year since 1989. For the upcoming academic year, tuition has jumped to just over $48,000. That's the second largest increase since Joanne Rooney took university president. In a statement, the university says the tuition will increase to support faculty recruitment and retention efforts, student services, and financial aid resources. Dr. Rooney promised to avoid raising tuition, but it has increased every year under her leadership.
The CDC now advises that people wear masks based on their personal risk level. If you're in a low-risk area, the CDC says to make your own choice on whether to wear a mask. If you're in a high-risk area, like a crowded event, the CDC still urges people to wear a well-fitting mask. Ending or limiting mask mandates is a sign that we are entering the endemic phase of the virus. That means that the virus doesn't go away. It simply becomes a part of our daily lives. Chicago's mask mandate has been lifted, but not everybody is ready for it. Loyola students have gotten used to wearing masks on campus to reduce the spread of the virus. The recent lift of the city's mandate is causing concern for some students, especially those in the health sciences. Senior nursing major Angelica Juliana believes the mask mandate should stay longer.
Everyone's so scared of it because these strands keep popping up. So I feel like until we either get rid of all the strands or we come up with a better vaccine, I think we need to have the mask mandate.
While many people are still scared to take off their mask, others have been celebrating. Masks were found in a toilet at one of Loyola's bathrooms, causing quite the political statement. Loyola plans to revisit the mask mandate after students return from spring break.
Ukraine and Russia delegations will meet in Belarus to have a second round of discussions. Their first meeting was last week, ending with no resolutions. Already, over 1 million Ukrainians have fled their country. The Russian military has attacked the Ukrainian capital, port cities, both by land and air. They captured a southern Ukrainian port on March 2nd. This is the first major Ukrainian city under Russian control. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has created a strong reaction among the Loyola student body. Reporter Casey Frink talks to students about their reactions and the crisis.
The violence in Ukraine has hit closer to home. Students here on campus have had strong opinions about the conflict.
It's been weird to go about daily life, like worrying about assignments and stuff like that when, there's all this insane stuff going on in the world.
It's weird because I was anxious for the first couple of days, but now everything feels very, very predictable. A Russian missile strike hit a school last night, and I went, oh, a Russian missile strike hit a school. It just felt very, very predictable. So I feel like me and other people that I've talked to as well became numb to it very, very quickly.
In response to Loyola students' reaction to the conflict in Ukraine, Loyola has echoed Pope Francis's call for global unity with the Ukrainian people, and also has asked for an immediate end to the hostilities. For Loyola News Chicago, I'm Casey Frink.
As this conflict unfolds, Loyola students are keeping a close eye on the situation.
As the conflict between Russia and Ukraine continue, Loyola is finding ways to lend their support. Campus ministry recently sent out an email to Loyola community on how to take action. The vice president of the Polish Club is donating their time to help spread awareness. Monica is one of many students who is playing an active role towards supporting the on-campus Ukrainian community.
It's definitely put some of our members on edge because they might have some family or some friends there right now and like experiencing all of that. Any source of help would be greatly appreciated.
The Polish Club promotes their culture and helping students become immersed in their heritage. The Polish Club also poses as an allyship to Ukraine issues and provides resources to get Loyola's community involved. For more information on how you can help out, go to voice.org.ua.
And coming up, if you're looking to do things, we have activities for you.
And next, Loyola's about to wrap up in their Missouri Valley history.
The mission of Aaron's Farm is to rescue animals and educate through their stories. Now, we want to reach as many kids as we can through the animal stories, through their friendships, to show that they're like us. Back to when I was a kid, I was obsessed with animals and would have died to be taken to a show like this.
Take a look at him. First of all, you'll notice that he's got sharp claws because he's climbing up on me and they're so sharp.
I think this farm is different from other educational farms or places around because we're not like a petting zoo. It's a hands-on science class, which you're not getting in a petting zoo type environment. My dream was to work with children and animals, and I was able to make that dream come true. And I want that for all these kids. I want their dreams to come true too.
Aaron's Farm. Rescue, sanctuary, advocacy. To find out more about Aaron's Farm and how to schedule a visit, go to aaronsfarm.net or connect on Facebook at Aaron's Farm 1.
It's already that time of year, postseason college basketball. The Loyola men's team will face Bradley tomorrow in the quarterfinals of Arch Madness in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. Rambler Sports Locker of Loyola Student Media will be there to cover the game. RSL reporter Mary Planky interviewed executive producer Amelia Ikes on what to expect.
Okay, so Amelia, this is your 4th Arch Madness. It's your last year and it's your first time in person. you know, post-pandemic, the last time you were there was March of 2020. You know, how are you feeling going into this last Arch Madness?
So I'm feeling really excited. I went my freshman year, which was in 2019. Unfortunately, Loyola did not win that year. I also went in 2020, which actually was the week before Loyola students got sent home for COVID. So very quick turnaround there. We also did not win then. Tragically, Loyola won, or not tragically, it's great that they did, but they won last year, but of course we couldn't be there due to COVID. So pretty disappointing that we couldn't be there. So I'm very excited this year. It's Loyola's final year in the Missouri Valley Conference, which means it's our final time at Arch Madness. So it's not just my last time because I'm a senior, it's kind of everybody's last time, so I'm pretty excited.
What has been your favorite part?
That's a good question. I would probably say, so my freshman year, I had just kind of settled on broadcast journalism. I thought I wanted to do it, but I wasn't totally sure. And then I was asked by Rambler Sports Locker to go, and then when we showed up in St. Louis, they played at the Enterprise Center, which is where the St. Louis Blues play as well. We took the service elevator up to the top floor to the media kind of like ring, I would say. And I will never forget kind of walking up and getting to see the entire stadium. It was all set up for the tournament, and it was just such a cool feeling. It really solidified that like I really love what I'm doing and I'm really happy with where I'm at. So that was definitely a good memory just because it reminds me of like the value of the work that we do.
As always, Amelia, thank you so much. Tune in to Arch Madness this weekend and see what the final result is going to be of the Loyola versus Bradley game on Friday.
That game time is Friday 2:30 at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis. The semifinals will be on Saturday, and the championship will also be on Sunday.
Loyola joined the Missouri Valley Conference in the summer of 2013 after spending 34 years in the Horizon League. Janae Gonzalez looks at the history of the Ramblers in the MVC, and this year being the last year they will be attending Arch Madness.
Loyola's first year at Arch Madness was in 2014. The Ramblers won their first round game against Bradley. This would be the only win they would take home that year.
Ramblers couldn't replicate the magic of the previous evening. They lost to the Sycamores 75-62. At least Lou Wolf had a good game.
The next year, the Ramblers made it all the way to the semifinal, but lost to Northern Iowa. But this was not the end of their season. They played in and won the College Basketball Invitational, the CBI. It was a return to the national stage for Loyola. Fast forward to 2018, when Loyola won its first Arch Madness tournament. This was the start to an unbelievable run in the NCAA tournament that had all of Chicago buzzing over the Blurs.
Chicago's been behind us, all the sports teams and, just fans in general. They've been supporting us. They had, Go Loyola on the Willis Tower in Chicago with the maroon and the gold, lights. So, it doesn't get any better than that.
The Ramblers fought their way to the Final Four, beating teams such as Florida, Tennessee, Nevada, and Kansas State. Loyola was an 11 seed, knocking out their higher-ranked opponents one by one.
It's all about our culture, man. Nobody cares in this locker room who scores the points. As long as Loyola scores, I'm happy. Everybody else is happy.
They would lose in the national semifinals that year, but the Loyola men's basketball team has proven to be one of the best to compete in the Missouri Valley Conference. From winning the CBI in 2015 to their Cinderella run in 2018, they have definitely left their mark on this conference. Janae Gonzalez, Loyola News, Chicago.
Thanks, Janae. And we should mention that Janae is a 4-year member of the Loyola women's basketball team. The women's team has 2 remaining games in conference play, and next week they will be heading to Moline for the Hoops in the Heartland Conference Tournament.
Every March, people can participate in activities for Women's History Month, a tradition that was officially started in 1987. Here are some ways to celebrate this special month in Chicago. Oh, you can visit the new mural in the South Loop dedicated to trailblazing women of Chicago suffrage movement. On March 5th, the National Museum of Mexican Art will open an exhibit honoring Mexican-American artist Frida Kahlo. You can also stop by the Women's History Center, which is a nonprofit organization and keeps and shares women's local history. You can also support women-owned businesses in Chicago. Loyola will also host Women's History Month activities. Loyola Women and Gender Studies program will host their annual feminist lecture series. This year's topic is about mid-century lesbian pulp fiction. Loyola Women and Leadership Archives will participate in a virtual Women's History Month archives exchange. The university libraries will make a literature guide for students to learn more about books, films, and other resources related to women's history. People can attend virtually online.
Loyola is aiming to create a culture of respect by joining a 2-year program focused on addressing gender-based violence. The program is called the Culture of Respect Collective. It trains universities to address gender-based violence through self-assessment and organizational planning. One of the program leaders says Loyola has historically supported addressing gender-based violence on campus.
Loyola had received a governmental grant to do more work on sexual and relationship violence on campus. That was a multi-year grant. When the money stopped, Loyola continued to fund the efforts that the grant had provided, which included funding for my position and some other initiatives.
Another initiative called the Community Coalition started in 2016. The group meets monthly with students to discuss how Loyola can improve their response to gender-based violence. Another reason why Loyola joined the initiative was because of student protests last fall about the university's response to gender-based violence cases.
We wanted to really be able to engage students, and we saw the passion and the desire from students, and so we wanted to make sure that we were responding to student needs.
The collective will be made up of 30 people, including staff, faculty, and students. The collective plans on meeting monthly to have discussions on ways to improve the university's response to gender-based violence.
Preparing a balanced meal can be difficult for students with their busy schedules, but cooking doesn't have to be so time-consuming with a few healthy ingredients. For example, avocados have become popular in the recent years as a healthy snack or as spread on toast. Avocados are categorized as a superfood because it is a nutrient and antioxidant-dense fruit. Loyola student Natalia Jaime eats avocados every day for her health and enjoyment.
I put avocado on my sandwiches with my eggs. One of my favorite things to eat is actually avocado pesto, so I make fresh pesto sauce with avocado, makes it thicker, adds good nutrients to it.
Avocados are fast and easy to prep for a healthy, balanced meal. Avocados are also naturally rich and creamy for smoothies and guacamole. Snapchat channel Classic Comfort by Tastemade shows how students can eat healthy on a budget.
Spring break is right around the corner for Loyola, and most students are looking forward to it. We went out on Water Tower campus to find out how some students are planning to spend the week. This time last year, Loyola classes were online, and spring break, as we know it, was canceled. Students were told to stay home or in their dorms. This year, Ramblers have returned to campus, and spring break is back. With spring break just around the corner, Loyola students are eager to escape the Windy City. Even with COVID restrictions, many are planning on going away for spring break. Like Loyola sophomore Sierra Wingfield, who will go on a Loyola mission trip and then to Fort Lauderdale with her parents.
Last year was hard with only having those couple of 4-day weekends, so I'm really excited to have a full week to not think about school.
But some Ramblers like senior Kendall Jackson, who travels frequently, feel like spring break is just another week. He plans on traveling to LA for work as a videographer before break begins.
Once you kind of make it past freshman year, unless you're like in my honest opinion, like somebody that goes out and party a lot, spring break doesn't even feel like it happened. I didn't even know we didn't have a spring break last year.
Other Loyola students like Natalie Zayed feel more comfortable traveling because of higher vaccination rates.
Now that I'm like triple vaccinated and that, there are still restrictions in place to mitigate COVID-19 transmissions, just as like double masking, you need to be vaccinated, etc. So I'm not quite too worried about getting COVID-19.
Zayed plans on traveling to Dubai with her family over spring break. Whether you stay in Chicago or travel, the university recommends students follow CDC guidelines to reduce the spread of COVID-19, both while you're gone and when you come back to campus. Loyola has one of the earliest spring breaks in the Chicago area. since we're on break next week. Northwestern spring break starts March 19th and UIC's starts March 21st. Thanks for watching this week. I hope you enjoy spring break.
And stay tuned after spring break. And for Loyola News, I'm Coco Sharp.